Is Andy Burnham quietly preparing to make his move against Keir Starmer? Behind the polished speeches and calm press conferences, whispers are growing louder inside Westminster. Labour MPs, frustrated with what they call a climate of fear and demoralization under Starmer's leadership, are now urging the Greater Manchester Mayor to step back into the national spotlight. And with every interview, every pointed remark, Burnham is stoking speculation that he could be the one to shake Labour's foundations, if he dares to challenge the Prime Minister himself. Behind the scenes, Andy Burnham admits the calls have already started. Labour MPs, unsettled by Keir Starmer's faltering grip, are quietly urging him to step up. Burnham doesn't deny it. He openly admits that people have been contacting him throughout the summer, pressing him to consider a leadership bid. And while he insists the decision is for others in Westminster to make, he leaves just enough ambiguity to fuel the fire. After all, this isn't a man without ambition. Burnham has stood twice before for Labour's top job, and he makes no secret of the fact that the dream of becoming Prime Minister has never left him. So is this gentle pressure from MPs the spark that could reignite his leadership ambitions? Burnham hasn't held back in his criticism of Starmer's inner circle. He accuses Downing Street of fostering a climate of fear, where MPs feel pressured into silence and stripped of their independence. Instead of open debate, he says, there's alienation and growing demoralization across the Labour benches. For a party that just swept into government on promises of renewal, such words cut deep. Burnham's warning suggests that beneath the surface of unity, cracks are spreading. If MPs truly feel sidelined and stifled, the question becomes unavoidable. How long before discontent turns into outright rebellion? For Burnham, Manchester is both his shield and his platform. As Greater Manchester Mayor, he insists he won't toe the line or stay quiet on the issues that matter to his region. From transport to housing to the Hillsborough Law, he's made clear that his loyalty lies first with the people who elected him. But every national interview, every sharp jab at Westminster, raises suspicion that his ambitions stretch far beyond the city limits. Supporters praise him as the voice of the North, unafraid to challenge London's grip. Critics, though, Burnham isn't just throwing stones at Starmer. He's sketching out a rival blueprint for Britain. In recent days, he's pushed for a 50p top rate of income tax, arguing that the wealthiest should pay more. He's called for a higher council tax on expensive southern homes, insisting the system is outdated and unfair. On public services, he wants greater state control over housing, energy, water, and rail, policies that echo Labour's traditional left but cut against Starmer's cautious approach. He backs proportional representation, a radical shift in Britain's electoral system, and he's demanded the scrapping of the two-child benefit cap, branding it abhorrent. Taken together, these aren't casual soundbites. They're the markers of a man laying out a competing vision, one that hints at leadership ambitions far bigger than his mayoral office. When pressed on timing, Burnham refuses to close the door. Asked if he could rule out a leadership challenge before next May's local elections, his answer was strikingly cautious. Life seems to be changing, and I don't know what the will of the people in Westminster. It was hardly a denial. Instead, he framed any contest as something that must be about more than a personality, insisting it should be built on a serious plan for the country. Meanwhile, Starmer has endured a punishing few weeks. 2 high-profile government departures, and polling that shows Labour lagging behind Reform UK in some areas. For restless MPs, Burnham's timing looks less like a coincidence and more like an opportunity. Could he be waiting for just the right moment to turn whispers into action? For all the buzz, the hurdles facing Burnham are immense. To even mount a challenge, he would need to resign as Greater Manchester Mayor, secure a parliamentary seat in a by-election, and then build enough support inside Labour's ranks to take on Starmer. That's no small task. Starmer, despite recent bruises, still commands the authority of a leader fresh from a landslide election win. Frontbench figures like Bridget Phillipson have dismissed the speculation outright, insisting there is no vacancy, and warning Burnham against distraction. Yet Burnham's high-profile interventions keep dragging him back into the national spotlight. The roadblocks are towering, but in politics, momentum can move mountains. The question is, does Burnham have the patience to wait, or the boldness to gamble everything now? Andy Burnham may insist he's not plotting, but his words and actions tell a different story. Each carefully placed interview, each pointed critique of Starmer's leadership, adds fuel to the fire that he's eyeing a bigger prize. Whether he strikes now or bides his time, one truth is clear. The Labour Party is no longer speaking with one voice. For some, Burnham represents hope of a bolder, fairer vision. For others, he's a distraction threatening fragile unity. But as whispers grow louder in Westminster corridors, the real question lingers. Will Burnham step into the fight, or remain the king across the Pennines waiting for his moment? Let us know what you think in the comments.